I'll be honest.
Hello guys, I'm Dan from Th13teen and I'm already running out of video ideas. Yay. Now in today's video I'm going to be counting down the top 5 creepiest rides at the Alton Towers Resort in Staffordshire, England. Alton Towers is my home park, so I do have a lot of experience at the park and stuff like that, so I may know more than the average person, but if your opinions are different to mine, please let me know in the comments down below. Now with that all being said, let's get into the video. Now, at the number 5 slot, we've got Wickerman at Alton Towers Resort. Wickerman's a GCI wooden roller coaster with a dark theme, lots of storytelling elements and a good pre-show before you actually got into the main ride. Wickerman's a well-themed experience for all the family, although it does have a dark storyline. This dark storyline is somewhat creepy, but it definitely isn't as creepy as other things on this list. I would say though, it definitely is creepy to a degree, because getting burned in wicker is, I'd say more dark than creepy, I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, nonetheless, it's a great ride, and it is relatively creepy. The soundtrack and the weird symbols you find throughout the queue line do really build up an atmosphere for when you're going into the pre-show. And then also when you're in the pre-show building, there's a lot of strong smells of burning wood and stuff like that, which does really build up an atmosphere for your ride experience.
The legendary fallen branch, the focus of the Earl's obsession that has lain undisturbed for 200 years, chained in this box.
Now, at the number 4 slot we've got Hex. Hex is a Vekoma Madhouse dark ride which opened in the year 2000. Hex is regarded as the best dark ride in the UK by many enthusiasts. Although I may not agree with this myself, I can see why people would think that. Hex has got a lot of storytelling elements and a lot of great theming because it is actually set inside the Alton Towers. Although they can't actually build inside it, they do have a very clever way of making you think that you're still inside the towers, although you're actually in a separate building which is behind the towers. So yeah, it is a very good ride. Hex does a great job of immersing you with its creepy storyline, and also the huge tree in the middle of the madhouse. Because when you're spinning upside down, you look down at the ground, you can just see this massive tree in front of you, and it is proper creepy. So yeah, that's why Hex is the number 4 slot on our list. Now at the number 3 slot we've got Duel. Duel was originally called the Haunted House in the 90s and the 80s. But then I went for a name change in 2003 to be called Duel, and it was given interactive dark ride guns. Now, Duel isn't the scariest ride in the park, it's far from it to be honest, but it does have some great set pieces and some pretty creepy theming to be honest. They've got big spiders, they've got weird zombie animatronics. It does come round for a good experience for all the family, but also maintaining that slightly scary, creepy theme. Duel is a classic at the Alton Towers Resort and never has a queue line because of its amazing throughput, and also the fact that it is a bit of a dated ride at the resort, but still, it has absolutely no queue ever, and it is one of my favourites at the park because of that. And also, it gives me that classic feel when I ride on it, because it was an old dark ride, but it did get a bit of a revamp recently as well, with some extra paint and stuff like that on the ride. But honestly though, it is an awesome ride, and it's a must ride if you go to the Alton Towers Resort, just because it has no queue line. Now at the number 2 slot we've got Th13teen, an Intamin Mega Light which opened up in 2010. This roller coaster was the first in the world to feature a vertical drop track, which basically you go onto a bit of track and it drops you down, as in the actual track drops and then realigns with another bit of track at the bottom, and then launches you backwards. Honestly though, this ride is awesome and very, very underrated. It is honestly probably like, I'd probably say my third or fourth favourite roller coaster in the park. I know I'm going to get slated for that, but honestly, it is an amazing ride, and I absolutely love the airtime you get on the back row, and also the really, really dark feel, because basically whenever I go into the drop track room, because of those air cannons, I hate myself every time I go on it, and honestly though, it's worth it just because I love that feeling of dropping vertically. The airtime you get on it is amazing, and it is very, very underrated. Now, creepy theming wise, 13's got a lot of unlucky nods, if you know what I mean. So they've got like, say, I don't know, a ladder which you have to walk under. They've got different like notes to the number 13, like it says 13 on the walls and stuff like that, because it is the ride name, but you know what I mean. And also they've got a huge Tesla coil which randomly shoots off, which is great. Also, as well as this, the soundtrack is very, very creepy, and it makes you feel like on edge the whole time, and there's screaming in the soundtrack and stuff like that. And one of my personal favourite things is the amount of statues and stuff like that in the ride. They've got a lot of these creepy hooded men as statues outside the queue line, in the entrance to the actual themed area, and as well on the ride itself, which does add for a great ride experience. Now, at the number 1 slot may be slightly controversial, but we do have the Smiler. Personally, I think this ride is so messed up. Honestly, like, I don't know why they chose such a weird theme for the ride, but it works really well. Of course, if you don't know, the Smiler is currently the world record holder for the most amount of inversions on a single roller coaster. It does host 14 different inversions for the ride experience, and honestly, it is a very good ride, and I rate it quite highly. The ride is a Gerstlauer infinity coaster with 2 different lift hills throughout the ride. One right at the start which is just a normal one, then another one which is a vertical lift hill, but does not have a beyond vertical drop after it. In fact, it actually just banks to the right and it makes its way around into the next inversion. The ride also has 2 awesome airtime moments, which are my personal favourite airtime moments in the resort. And honestly, they just come out of nowhere, these ejector hills, they're honestly awesome. Now, is this ride creepy? Of course it is, it's Alton Towers, but it's even creepier than every other ride in the park. From literally the ride logo to when you get in the station, it's just so strange, some of it is just messed up. Because there is so much stuff to talk about with the Smiler, if you guys would like to see its own video, comment down below and give this video a thumbs up, and I will know to make the video. Now, let's get into the creepy theming. Now, the ride's logo is just a big happy face combined with some hypnotic swirls, which doesn't sound creepy on paper, but if you do see it, and it is also in the thumbnail of the video, it is a bit weird. As well as this, because the ride is so compact, you actually queue underneath the ride, and because of this you get some interesting views of the ride, and it is, well, as much as it sounds weird, because of the cattle pen and also this huge mess of track above you, it is pretty weird and creepy. And then also you can see the normalizer from, well, the cattle pen as well. The station's themed to like some sort of hospital facility kind of thing, and just as you depart the station when you are on the ride, it says join us with some big lights, so that's a pretty cool feel. But I'm not going to get into too much more detail just because there's so much to get into. So if you would like to see its own video, just give the video a like and comment down below. Now, did you agree with my list? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content just like this, because there'll be more in the coming weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!